Okay, again, I'm going to go over a little type or letters or titles to a video. Um, I was working on a video in a previous video about basic video editing, and I put some text in there and it was horrible, so we're going to delete that and put some new titles in. I just want to talk a little bit more about the title window inside Adobe Premiere. It's not very good title window, it's very simple, but if you go under File, New, Title inside of Adobe Premiere, it'll bring up the title window, and if you hit OK, it'll bring up the basic title window. It shows you a little video, which is basically not a video but a still image of the video, so that you can see what the title would look like over top of the video. In the program, again, you have different type options in this program. You got basic type tool, vertical type tool, type area type tool, vertical area type tool, path type tool, and vertical path tool, and so on. So I'll basically talk a little bit about each one of these, and then I'll talk a little bit about making credits that kind of scrub or rule. So again, you can just click on the type tool and you can type in Waldo. Again, you can select the text, you can change the color. If you want, there's a variety of different options over here. Under the fill type, you can change to a gradient, which is kind of cool. You got a gradient, you can change the color of the gradients so that you can get a gradient effect like that. That kind of goes nice with the background. In addition, so you have different options under fill here. You can choose the font up here. There's different font options. Oops, that's not very good. Well, unless it was bold, maybe. That's better. So you have different font options. You got the font size right here. You have aspect, squish it or so. Leading will change the space between them. You have kerning, which will change the space between the actual letters themselves. You got a little tracking, changes the space between all the letters. Baseline shift, and so on. So you have the basic font capabilities here. Again, you have a fill. I change it to a linear gradient. You can add different colors for your gradient inside of here. In addition, you have a sheen, which kind of makes it a bright area, and a texture, which you can put a texture in. You can put a line around the outside, which is called a stroke. You can do an inner stroke and an outer stroke. If you hit add, it's going to put a black line around it. You can change that color if you want. Again, it's called stroke. I don't know what happened to it. I put it out there and it went away. So there's an outer stroke, and then you could do a shadow if you want, and then I don't know, background, we'll put a big background there, the solid color. So there's some basic capabilities. That looks pretty good. Again, you can have text that goes vertical instead of horizontal, but that's not going to look right on this one right now. Area type tool is just like it says, it's type that goes in a box. That you can then have instead of having a return every time, it'll wrap. Text along a path is kind of complicated. If you click on it, you can actually draw a line and then have the text, or draw a circle or whatever you want. And when you're done, you can just type with your text. Oh, it went away here. Well, usually it just shows up the little text tool and you can type. It's not working right now. Again, let me try again. Text along a path is this one. It's worked for me once. Oh, there we go. So there you go. It'll actually type the text along the line. So you can have text going. So this is a path. It's like using the pen tool and drawing a line. It's not very intuitive. It's not very easy to use. But again, there's some nice effects you can do over here. Inside the fill option with the sheen, and so you can try some of those. It's not easy to animate text in this program, so I tend not to do it in here. I would do it in After Effects or even in Photoshop or something else. Again, you could just simply take your text and put it into your video. Ooh, this is a little bit big text here. I don't like it being so large. But what you can do is, once you have it in your title, in your window here, I'm going to zoom in here. Once I have it in, I'm going to stretch it out. It seems to be crashing here. Oh, that worked. Let me see here. It is my sequence window that is kind of locked up here. And so it doesn't look like I can do anything right now. I don't know why. Let me hit space. That works. But my cursor, oh, it's gave me a hand to change to that. Okay, so if I stretch this out, I can stretch it out a little bit longer. Again, what you can do is, once you have an object in there, like let's say this text that we have right now in my timeline, you can actually do things under the effects control with it. Under the effects control of an object inside of Premiere, you got a whole motion. If you click on the motion option, you can see you can move it anywhere you want in your screen, which is a nice capability. In addition, under the motion, if you twirl down the little diamond or the triangle next to it, you can change the position and you can change the scale. These are all keyframeable. What that means is that you can add moments in time so that they can change over time. So right now I'm about maybe a third of the way into the text, and I made some adjustments using the stopwatch here. If I go all the way back to the very beginning of where the text starts, I'm going to hit the little diamond right here to add more keyframes. These are more keyframes. And I'm going to change the size, make it really small, but you can barely see it. So what's going to happen as it goes, the title is going to come flying in from the center and stop like that. And then I can actually have it go flying out the same way by hitting the little diamonds here. These are adding keyframes here. And then going all the way to the very end of the text. Once I'm at the end of the text, oh, it's invisible right now here. Once I'm at the end of my text here, I can hit more diamonds and then scale it again to nothing. And so then it'll fade away. Again, so you can get some text to fade on and fade off. Instead of just fading on and fade off, scale on and scale off. Again, we can see what we want here. So again, using a combination of just plain text I made in the text window, but then using the motion settings under motion and the effects control, you have full scaling. You even have a rotation. You want it to spin as it's flying off the screen here. You can do that. I'm going to go back to this keyframe here, add a little rotation, and I'm going to go all the way to the very end like I did with the other one. Add a little keyframe and put maybe like a 3 in there for 3 times no, it's 3 degrees. Oh, I think you have to do add it. So if you want to rotate 3 times, you got 360, 360, 720 maybe. So that's 2 times. Yeah, there it is. It actually, once you put it in, it did it. So then here we go. That was kind of cool. So at least that kind of spun around as it went away. Again, there's rotation and all kinds of things. So you might want to try those capabilities. Much more interesting than my first title that I did earlier. There it is in the beginning. Okay, much more interesting than just plain text. Okay, let's talk about adding credits at the very end. Credits are quite easy to do. You can do another new title. There's a whole title pop-up window. I'm going to say new default still, default roll, default crawl. Roll is text that will come from the bottom and up through the top. Crawl will be from left to right or horizontal. So if you want text to move from, still is like what we just did, a plain simple text that doesn't move. Roll will go from bottom to top vertically, and then crawl will go horizontal. So if I say roll, it's going to say okay, and I'm going to call this credits, and I'm going to hit OK. Usually what you do is you'll put a new title based on current title or roll crawl options. Oh, we already have that. So you put some text on here by using the area text tool here, and I'm going to then go all the way to the edges here and make a really big long line of text. So I just make a big box of text. That's alright. As you start typing, it'll actually make it bigger. So again, I used the area type tool. So I'm going to we'll just put some text in. The end is there, and then we'll hit two space bars, and then we'll say directed by Jeff Raskoff. Two returns, camera, and then we'll put Jeff Raskoff. Don't worry about that yet. I think you'd be able to scale it bigger. There you go. You have to keep scaling and scrolling like this. It's not very intuitive, but you're scaling and scrolling. So let's put our cursor, and then we'll hit. Actually, let's make this font a little smaller so it's not taking up so much space on my screen here. There we go. And then let's center it. There we go. So again, there's a center option. Here's the size of the font. Let's give it some color. I'm going to give it kind of a light pink. And then camera, sound, titles. Hit return twice. Titles. And then hit return a couple times, and then again, if it goes too far and you can't see it, you can use your selection tool. You can scroll with your piece, and you can drag your thing bigger. And then we got titles, and we got sound, and we got Best of Boy. And then so again, you can do all kinds of things. Again, I'm using this area text tool. You don't necessarily have to do that. You could just build a whole bunch of text that goes in, and you'll notice that it goes and makes a big box like this. When you're done doing that, you can hit the crawl options. The crawl options are this one right here. The roll options are this one, where you can say start off the frame and end off the frame. You can have it slow down as it comes on and slow down as it goes out. That's what ease in and ease out does. I'm not going to do that right now. Again, it's roll, start, stop, and that was this option right here. If I hit OK, I can then close my title window here and grab that text that I have at the end here, and I'm going to put it kind of at the very end of my movie here. And then I'm going to stretch it out. Maybe to make it a little longer. Right now it's only 5 seconds. Let's make it at least 10 seconds. That'll be 5 more seconds. It'll be 10 seconds. Now let's see what the credits look like. So very easy to do your basic. And in fact, we should probably keep the music going throughout the credits here. And maybe we have it fade at the end there. If we go to our effects window, we can actually fade using our transition and our dissolve. So if we go to effects, video transitions, we put the cross dissolve in there between the credits. Let's stretch our credits out a little bit longer. Let's stretch our sound out a little bit longer. And then maybe even stretch that transition a little longer. If you zoom in on the transition inside of Premiere, you can actually select it and drag it longer so that they slowly fades out here. So here we go. So you get an effect like that. So that is some effects that you can use with your text inside a video project.